Hello, and thank you for tuning in, everyone. This is the account with the news report for day 313 of the war in Ukraine. News today were dominated by the continued Russian missile and UAV attack on Ukraine and the strike on Makiivka I mentioned yesterday. The rest was mostly minor news, and as usual, I grouped them into the situation inside Ukraine, the occupied territories, and the international developments. But as usual, we will begin with the flashpoints along the front. Generally, the fronts are currently more or less at a standstill. Only small-scale battles are reported. However, some small notes for the main areas. Svatove. Front lines have not moved much here, but reportedly Ukraine is continuously making small gains. Crimea. Complete information blackout around what is happening in and around the settlement. Rumors claim heavy battles around Dibrova. Bakhmut. Russia is concentrating forces towards the north of Bakhmut for a possible offensive, however not much has happened lately. Ukraine repelled attacks around Bakhmut and in the south. Marinka. Small-scale battles are happening inside the settlement, however nothing major is reported. And now for the latest on the continued Russian missile and UAV attack on Ukraine. While reported numbers vary, the Ukrainian Air Force once again defended the skies over Ukraine against the Russian missile and UAV attack. Numbers are ranging from 39 to 44 aerial targets destroyed. Over the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, at least 22 targets were shot down. The damage report stated that at least 11 private houses and one critical infrastructure facility were damaged, and parts of the heat supply were cut off. According to Velykyi Kim, head of the Mykolaiv Oblast military administration, 7 Shaheds had been shot down over Mykolaiv Oblast. In his evening speech, President Volodymyr Zelensky reported that Ukrainian air defense has shot down over 80 drones since the beginning of the new year, and that Russia is planning a long-term attack to exhaust Ukrainian resources. Moving on to the GMLRS strike on the military base in Makiivka. 400 dead and 300 injured. That is the alleged toll of the GMLRS strike on a former school in Makiivka used as a military base by Russia. Reports suggest the basement of the school was used as an ammunition storage, which completely destroyed the building when it exploded. Propagandist Andrei Medvedev was outraged by negligence of the occupiers, which led to great losses of personnel. Both the General Staff of Ukraine and the Russian Ministry of Defense confirmed the strike. While the General Staff did not mention any numbers, the Russian MOD claims only 63 soldiers died after the building was hit by 6 missiles. Pro-Russian blogger Anatoly Shary wrote, "There are still several hundred corpses in Makiivka." Here you can see the video we already showed yesterday of the destroyed building. Referencing the governor of Samara, Medusa news outlet reports a group of mobilized men from Samara are among the killed. According to relatives of the soldiers, many were torn to pieces. Survivors are practically naked as their clothes and food remained in the destroyed building. And now for a quick look at the situation inside Ukraine. Ukrainian authorities have discovered 25 torture chambers in the liberated areas of Kharkiv Oblast. According to the head of the regional police, Russian troops allegedly used electric shock and broke people's fingers. Since September 7th, 920 bodies of civilians allegedly killed by Russian troops, including 25 children, were found. The Velykyi Potomkin island in Kherson Oblast was liberated by Ukrainian troops. On December 15th, Russian occupiers forcibly moved residents of the island to territories under Russian control. Moving on to the situation inside the occupied territories. The Russian-installed governor of Sevastopol has allegedly moved his family and all his assets to Cyprus. Special Operation Forces of the National Resistance Center reports that Mikhail Razvozhayev even moved his cats and dogs. Russia continues to use occupied Crimea as a stepping stone to integrate other occupied Ukrainian territories into the Russian Federation. Authorities announced the construction of the Simferopol, Mariupol, Rostov-on-Don highway to connect Crimea to Russian mainland. Around 9:45 p.m. local time, explosions were reported in occupied Sevastopol, Crimea. Authorities, as usual, stated that Russian air defense shot down drones. And wrapping up the news segment, the international developments. According to Poland's ambassador to the United Nations, allowing Russian President Vladimir Putin to save face after he started the full-scale war against Ukraine would ultimately kill off the international order that has been established after World War II. Russia and Belarus have extended their joint military exercises for at least a week. According to the Belarus Gayun monitoring group, the military exercises have been ongoing since April 29th. And now for the daily intelligence reports, starting with the UK Ministry of Defense. Over the last 5 days, Russian and Ukrainian forces have probably been fighting for control of the P-66 highway north of the Russian-held Luhansk Oblast town of Crimea. The P-66 is a key supply route for the northern section of Russia's Donbas front from the Belgorod region of Russia. Its use has been disrupted by Ukrainian artillery since October, but if Ukraine were able to secure the route, it would highly likely further undermine Russia's defense of Crimea. And to wrap it all up, the evening update by the General Staff of Ukraine. The enemy launched 28 missiles and airstrikes. It should be noted that the Russian occupiers carried out 27 airstrikes against civilian infrastructure using the Shahed 136 UAV. All these drones were shot down. The enemy, losing a lot of manpower, continues to focus on conducting offensive actions in Bakhmut and tries to improve the tactical position in the Kupiansk and Avdiivka directions. On December 31st, up to 10 units of enemy military equipment of various types were destroyed and damaged in the area of concentration in the settlement of Makiivka Donetsk region. The losses of personnel of the occupiers are being specified. Russian invaders continue to commit illegal actions against local residents in the temporarily occupied territory of the Kherson region. The occupiers collect information about persons engaged in business activities and seize their vehicles and goods. And with that, another news report is finished. Interested in any of the articles I mentioned? Links to them can be found in the description. Thank you for tuning in and have a great day. You were listening to The Account. Slava Ukraini.